Pastor Kevin here. Today I'd like to speak to you about servant leadership. That term has been thrown around a lot over the past several years. What does it mean to be a servant leader? Well, I heard somebody put it this way. If serving is below you, then leading is beyond you. You know, the capacity of your leadership is really going to be determined by your ability to serve those. You know, in order to be a good leader, you sometimes have to first be a good follower, and you have to be willing to do what it takes for those that you are leading, because those that you are leading, you are also serving. You know, think about Jesus. Jesus, he says he came to serve and not be served. And he demonstrated that in many ways. He was sacrificial in the giving of his time, in the giving of his talents, and the giving of his life. In fact, the night before he died, he took the water basin that was used to clean the feet of visitors and guests, and he put a towel around his waist, and he washed the disciples' feet. Now, that was done by the lowest of servants, but Jesus took that upon himself. Back in the first century, people walked around with open-toe shoes, and those feet would get dirty and smelly and grimy, and no one wanted to touch them, let alone clean them. But Jesus, the Savior of the world, the King of Kings, humbled himself and cleaned the feet of his disciples. And some didn't want their feet to be clean, but he said, I must do this. And he did this to demonstrate to them, he who wants to lead must be the servant of them all, is what he said. And he demonstrated that in his life. And for us, if we want to lead well, we need to be able to serve well. Our people need to know that we are in it with them, that we roll up our sleeves and we get our hands dirty in order to serve them. Nothing should be below us, so that everything is attainable in our leadership capacity. I remember I was a young, soon-to-be promoted officer, and they put me under one of the wisest and probably most popular officers on the job. This was back when I was bivocational as a firefighter. And I remember that this guy was always in it with the men, whether they were putting out fires or cleaning up afterwards, whatever it was, he was always serving right alongside them. In fact, you wouldn't even know he was the officer except that he had a different color shirt on. And he said to me, he said, here is the secret to being a good leader. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Roll up your sleeves and work right alongside them. You can lead them while you're working with them. And I took that to heart. That was a great lesson for me. And I remember years later continuing to try to model that for people that I was trying to lead. And I think that nowhere is that even more true than in the church. As pastors, we must be servants. We must be leading and serving right along one another. No matter what it is, we need to be doing it with them. Jesus did that. He shared his ministry. He served alongside his disciples. He taught them exactly how to lead others by serving first. So if you want to be a great leader, be a great servant first.